Welcome to the latest edition of Senior Showcase. Excited to have another outstanding representative of the class of 2020, and want to introduce everyone to Jake Masini.
Hello.
How you doing, Jake?
Doing good.
Awesome.
How are you?
No, doing great. Thank you. If you don't mind, just take a minute and share with people what you've been involved in at Prairie Ridge over the last 4 years.
Yeah, I played baseball and football. Was in PR as open, student council, and then just involved with a couple other things that I probably can't rattle off the top of my head, but felt like I was always doing something throughout high school.
Sure. Now, so if you wouldn't mind sharing with everyone what Prairie Ridge is it Eyes Wide Open or that organization and what it did?
Yeah, PR is like Eyes Open. We just meet in the morning, and then we just talk about things around the school that we can do to, I guess, spread kindness. I mean, I think one time we went around with sticky notes. We wrote messages on them and then put them around the school for people to see. Just kind of a way to spread positivity throughout the school.
Oh, cool. So who was the faculty member that facilitated that?
Mrs. Buck.
Okay.
My sophomore math teacher. Yeah.
Wow, terrific. Mrs. Buck seems to be everywhere helping. So.
Yeah, she does a lot of stuff. She does a lot of stuff with the seniors too. She's been a great help around the school.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, if you think back on your senior year, what are some cool memories that you have so far that to kind of remember?
Yeah, probably the football season, coming back after not playing my junior season and coming back and joining again and playing. I think it was just a perfect way, one of the best ways to, have a last season with all my friends and that I've grown up with playing football for my whole life. I think I'll always be able to look back on that, especially now not having a baseball season. I have the whole football season to look back onto. I was just glad that I had a sports season to look back onto for my senior year.
Yeah, no. And tell me about, because obviously it's been tough for all you guys on the baseball team, senior heavy team, a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Kind of tell me about the emotions initially when you kind of found out and such, because you were kind of waiting in the wings, working hard all these years to catch, and this was going to be your chance.
Yeah, it was rough. I mean, I was sitting down at my kitchen table, listening to Pritzker cancel everything, and then I think a couple hours later, I went out to the field and just sat out at the field for a while. I think Keegan and I were out there, just kind of sat there for a little bit. It was just kind of hard to have it, done. I mean, you dreamed about it for a while, for your whole life, just playing varsity baseball and things like that. And just to have it taken away right at the last second kind of sucks. I mean, something that all the other seniors and stuff works for too. I mean, our whole group was such a hardworking group of guys. I think we could have gone far with the work ethic of our team and things like that. And just the dedication and pure buy-in by all our guys. I mean, it was a sad day.
No, definitely. How have you guys kind of processed or been there to support each other during that right now?
I mean, a couple of us will go out and hit together and do whatever we can together as much as we can with this. Obviously, we can't really do much, but we stay in touch. We talk a lot about baseball and things like that. That's about it. That's all we can really do, I guess.
Sure. Now, what is there a positive that you could take out of this? Something that you learned about yourself regarding, kind of what you've gone through?
Yeah. I mean, the second week of quarantine, I went down to Florida to kind of help out my grandparents and things like that, and just go on a vacation for a little while. And my grandpa was like, "Yo, you'll be one of the only people to be able to say you got your senior year canceled by coronavirus. You can look on that bright side, and at least get to spend a ton of time with family, which is a good thing." But I mean, it's like, yeah, that's one good thing, I guess. You spend a lot of time with your family.
Yeah.
Things like that, and just, I guess, focus on yourself a little bit more.
Sure. Now tell me your what your next step is, and I know that baseball's not over for you, so why don't you tell us all about that?
Yeah, I'll be playing baseball at University of Wisconsin lacrosse. Love that campus there. All the buildings were brand new. The only downside were the dorms, and I'll probably be living in a house with a couple guys by my sophomore year. So it's not really that big of a deal, and it's dorm life too. And the coaches there were very welcoming. I liked them a lot. We play in a minor league stadium, which is really nice for the
Yeah.
Northwood League, and I'm really excited about it. It's a good match for me academically too. Even though probably on the higher side of the average there, but it's still, out of all the schools that I could have played baseball at, I think it was just the best choice. I had to decide between Baylor, TCU, Boulder, or playing baseball for lacrosse. And especially with this, I just wanted to keep playing baseball. And that was a big part of my decision too.
How did the recruiting process go? I mean, what happened that you got connected with Wisconsin lacrosse? How did that come about?
Well, actually, at first I had been talking to St. Olaf College in Minnesota for a while. And then we went up to visit it. And my mom was like, hey, why don't we just go check out lacrosse while we're driving back down? So we drove through it. And then eventually I found out that there was a camp there. So I was like, oh, I'll email the coaches and stuff like that and talk to them, send them some video. So I did. And then they told me to come out to the camp. And I didn't actually end up going because I think I had football or something like that day, or football had just ended and I didn't want to go because I was kind of dead and I hadn't done baseball for a while. And then eventually they just said, we liked what we saw. I think they saw me once early on in the season, in the summer season for Pro Player. And then once I emailed them, they realized that then I just got a visit. I went and visited lacrosse. They took me around the campus and stuff like that. And I loved it. So I just picked it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful part of the country there on the river, kind of the bluffs and all that. Tell us more about lacrosse in that area, kind of what your roommate situation might look like.
Yeah, I'm rooming with 2 other baseball players right now. And then, like you said, the bluffs, the rivers and stuff, there's plenty of things to do, mountain biking and things like that. I mean, the river, I'm pretty sure you can rent boats and stuff like that, go out on the river, go out on the beach. Even though it's probably going to be snowing and frozen for most of the time until spring, summer. Yes.
Where are you guys going to get to go for your spring ball? Is there certain spots that your team will go to?
Yeah, I think they went to Florida last year. I think they go to Florida a lot. And then there's a tournament at US Bank Stadium. Go Vikings. Can't wait for that. That'll be
We knew you were gonna sneak that in.
Yeah, I had to.
Well, tell us about this because there's this weird connection in your family, and I'll let you introduce your family because we got Texas intertwined, we got Minnesota, we got all this weird stuff going on. So explain that to everyone who might not know your family.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit confusing. My mom, Judy, I think she was born in Wisconsin, lived in Wisconsin for a while, and then went to high school in Minnesota, and then went to college at UW La Crosse, where I'm going, and then eventually moved down to Arizona to teach bilingual, so Spanish. She minored in Spanish, so she was a Spanish teacher for a while in Arizona. That's how she met my dad, Mark, who was born in Colorado and then moved to Texas. It's either that or is born in Texas, moved to Colorado, and then moved back to Texas, and then eventually up to Michigan, where he went to college in Michigan State. And then he became a military pilot and flew fighters for a while, and then ended up meeting my mom in Arizona, and then eventually moved back up here. And then where I was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My brother was born in Minneapolis. Actually, I think I was born in St. Paul, but and then my dog, Humphrey. My brother is also living in Baylor, Texas, Waco, Texas right now. He goes to Baylor. And yeah, that's the family.
So it was either, hey, you want to continue playing baseball or you're going to head down to Texas. So tell us about the plan. So you just shared kind of what the plans of your family is going to be here in the next year. You want to share that with everyone?
For my plan,
No, your family's
my
plan.
family plan. Oh yeah, well, my parents moved down to Dallas after with my dad's new job. It'll be easier. There won't be as long of a commute and stuff like that. My dad being a pilot, he's not a check airman, so it's more of a 9 to 5 ish job. I mean, there are nights where he has to work, but well, they'll be down somewhere in Dallas, somewhere around Dallas. We don't really know yet. And that's the plan.
All right. Well, how do you feel about the move to Texas now for your family?
For me, I'm not taking it too much to heart. I mean, it's gonna suck not being able to come right home to Crystal Lake, not having the home in Crystal Lake to see all my friends in between college and stuff like that. I'll probably be able to visit for a little bit, but that's the only downside to it. Otherwise, I mean, I'll be at college, so it won't be that. I'll doing my own business and stuff like that. So it'll be fine. And I mean, my brother was able to commute from Texas to Chicago, so I should be able to go from La Crosse to Texas.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's enough of your buddies and their families that would happy to take you in for some time too, if you don't feel like going to the heat of Texas at that point.
Yeah.
So what's your major going to be as you go to Wisconsin La Crosse?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm starting to look at business management, pre-law, being political science. I mean, that's what I'm most interested in is social sciences like that, but I'm just kind of weary of being political science major. I don't really want another reason why I chose La Crosse is not super expensive because I need a degree to be able to do what I want, and I probably won't end up using my degree if it goes right, but we'll see. Hopefully, I just need a degree that is a good backup plan, and I think being pre-law can definitely do that, and business management can definitely do that.
So when you say backup plan, what's kind of if you look 10 years from now, right? You're 28 years old. Where are you? What are you doing?
Hopefully I'm flying fighter jets, just like my dad and grandpa eventually, hopefully. But I mean, it's tough. There's a lot of health requirements, and there's a lot of it's just a tough school to go through. So I think I can hopefully get through it and become a fighter pilot. I mean, that's the dream. It's been
Now, do you want to go OCS or ROTC, or kind of what's the route you're looking at going?
OCS. I mean, my dad has pushed that for me, I think, a lot. He just wants me to be telling people what to do rather than getting yelled at all the time, being an officer. I mean, that's about mostly the decision is just advice from my dad and my grandpa. So.
Now, was your grandpa in the Marine Corps like your dad as well, or what service was your grandpa in?
Yeah, my grandpa was a Marine pilot during Vietnam. He flew fighters and C-130s. Pretty sure he flew C-130s in Vietnam, but flew like F-4s and F-4 Phantoms. I'm pretty sure that's yeah.
Yeah, and your dad flew jump jets or Harriers.
Yeah.
Cool history. If anyone ever watched the old show Baba Black Sheep, that was your dad's Marine unit, but many years later, obviously.
Yeah.
And such. So very cool. So it sounds like we got another Marine in the making here.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully. Honestly, whoever can give me a flight slot, I'd fly for Navy, Air Force, and Army. I'm pretty sure they have a fixed wing kind of.
Yeah.
Too, but we'll see. We'll see where it takes me. Who knows?
Hey, you don't need to share. You don't need to share me. If you look behind me here, we got what do I got? I got the Flying Tigers picture behind me there, and aviation's my love as well. So that's very cool. So look forward and I'm sure you were like me, bummed that the release of the new Top Gun movie got put off now.
So I was looking forward to it too, and it just gotten put off. But
I'm right there with you because that's the when I was looking to get a pilot slot, that was the movie that came out when I was in high school going. Yeah. So it's just amazing how that they're still going to do that. That I won't tell you how many years. Geez.
Apparently my dad and his family went and saw Full Metal Jacket right before he was going to go into the Marines. So
that probably wasn't good.
Not for my grandma, I guess. Not for my grandma.
Yeah, there's so many lines. This is my rifle. This is my gun. Yeah, and then yeah, that scene at the end. Yeah, there's a lot. That's
Yeah.
Amazing. Hey, but seriously, thank you for kind of wanting to pursue that and help serve the country, because I know how important that is to you and your family, and your dad being a vet, and his service, and your grandpa serving in Nam. Was your dad your grandpa career officer in the Marine Corps, or did he get out early?
I think so. I don't know the specific years, but I'm pretty sure I'm sure he got his 20, and then did probably did what my dad did, stayed active for as long as he could. My dad was active for 9 years, and then when retired to get to their 20,
Yeah,
and then get all the like benefits and stuff like that for it. When it's just you sit as retired, and I mean my dad was still pretty much doing the same job, and so did my grandpa. They both went right into commercial flying after.
that's very cool. So awesome. Now, have you had a chance to go up and do any flying yet, or work on your private, or rent a plane, or anything like that yet?
Yeah, my grandpa lives in the UP and owns two hangars, or one hangar. I think he sold one a couple years ago, and we go up and fly Cessnas every once in a while, and whenever we can get up there,
A,
go up and fly.
a tail dragger or tricycle gear? What kind of Cessna is that?
Tricycle gear.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he used to be in a glider club in El Paso, Texas. He has an apartment in El Paso, Texas that he goes down to. And my brother and I went down and flew gliders one year. That was fun to do.
Oh yeah.
To fly. Yeah.
That's awesome. So hey, best of luck as you kind of pursue that dream. That will be awesome.
Thank you.
So as we look on the quarantine, I know you've gone out, you're still doing some arm conditioning and things like that with your buddies, or hitting. What else have you been doing to kind of pass some of that quarantine time away right now?
Well, I mean, that's a big bulk of what I normally do. I usually go out for at least 2 or 3 hours, just working out, go to VA, run some hills, do whatever I can, and then go home. Started DoorDash driving just to make some money every once in a while, whenever I could, I guess. That has started to fill up some time too. That's kind of helped keep me busy. And I'm able to make money doing it, so it's pretty nice. And then otherwise, playing PS4, watching Netflix, whatever it is, spending time with my family, playing cards, things like that.
So what is the Masini family tradition that's emerging during the quarantine now?
I mean, we've been playing a lot of Yahtzee. That's been the go-to game so far. I don't know, I've been watching a lot of shows with my mom, which has kind of been tough because I don't really know.
Style shows.
Yeah.
You want to watch like Narcos and blood and guts stuff, and your mom probably wants to watch some love stories.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. When I was in Florida, we watched Love Is Blind every night, and I'm sitting there. Oh, this is great.
It's like, oh, you're like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's funny because some people are just so unbelievably dramatic, so it's pretty funny to watch. But otherwise, it's like sitting there watching. I'll rather be watching Peaky Blinders, people going around the streets being absolute gangsters. Is ridiculous. That show is unbelievable. That show is fun to watch.
And is that on Netflix or Prime? Where is that one?
That's on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. Narcos has been good.
Which one?
Narcos has been good too, like you mentioned. Yeah.
Now, has that been a concession? Has mom actually watched some of those shows with you?
No. My dad and I have been watching The Last Dance. I think she stuck around watching one episode, and that was about it. But I mean, okay. I guess it doesn't go both ways, but it's fine. It's fine.
How about on the getting out, doing the outdoors at all, or anything like that?
Yeah, been walking my dog every once in a while. Besides my mom takes him for long walks, so he's dead. he turned 9 May 5th, so he's getting old now. But do a lot, just going outside, throwing the toy for him, spending some time with him. I'm sure he's getting tired, but it's okay.
Yeah. What's his name? Because I mean, anyone who's in Crystal Lake who spends time on the north side of town by Prairie Ridge can easily say that they probably see your mom a number of times a week walking the puppy.
Yeah, it's Humphrey.
Humphrey, yeah.
Named after Humphreys Peak in Arizona. That was the first time my whole family went skiing together. My brother and I snowboard, but
so in Flagstaff?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's awesome. So Yahtzee, some binging. What's been the PS4 go-to?
So far, GTA 5. Could kind of get back into that game for some reason. I mean, it's fun. Pretty much go around and do whatever you want. It's basically like a virtual city, but you can do whatever you want, I guess. So
yeah, virtual chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
Who are the guys? Who are some of the guys you've been playing that with online?
Drew Fryer and Connor Lydon have been playing a lot. But
are they any good?
I'll speak the truth. I'm not good at video games at all.
Okay.
So I mean, if you're not better than me, what are you really doing? So.
So you're not going to throw stones because it'll come right back at you.
Yeah, I'm not awful, but I guess it is what it is. I'm not really mad about it. I just play for the enjoyment.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, tell me about some of those when you look back and the time over PR or even recently over the last year. What are those funny moments, those things that you look back on, you just die laughing thinking about that?
Oh gosh. I guess think back to lunch. Just lunch in the school too. That was it was every man for themselves. If you ended lunch eating all of your own food and getting none of it taken away, it was a miracle. I mean, it was unbelievable. People just throwing food around. Colblinger just grabbing people's foods. It was unbelievable. That's probably something I'll always be able to go back, look at, and laugh. And lunchtime when we were leaving, I mean, just some of the things, just going out, getting out of school for 45 minutes with a couple of your friends, it's always enjoyable.
Hey, I heard that there was the Wisconsin Challenge. So is there anyone in your class that actually accomplished it?
Not that I know of. I never did either. That challenge would be very tough. I don't think I had the,
I know. What's your go-to when you guys would drive and go somewhere? Did you go to people's homes? Was there certain places you'd go to eat a lot? I mean, what was that like?
My house was always right next to the school, so I went there a lot. Taco Bell Thursdays and Taco Thursdays, and then really anywhere. McDonald's every once in a while there'd be that $1 McChicken.
Yeah.
And then for a special treat, honey baked ham, best ham sandwich I've ever had in my life. I think best ham sandwich I'll ever have. That was the real treat.
Oh yeah, I forgot you could go there and just get a sandwich.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So Brent Nygren mentioned that he is just totally down on Taco Bell now. That he just says something's happened with their crunch wrap or something that now it comes out soggy. I mean, is that your observation as well?
I haven't gone and gotten Taco Bell this entire quarantine. Actually, I haven't chosen to gone there and eat there for some reason. I guess not. I don't really eat Taco Bell all the time unless it's school Thursday. It's probably not the best thing to eat anyways.
Yeah, I agree. It's not high on the Chipotle, Taco Bell, or any of the other places. What's been the takeout go-to for your family?
Probably Texas Roadhouse. I think we've gotten that a couple times. We had Kyoto the other night. That was nice. That was really good, as usual.
Awesome. So you got carryout from Kyoto. Was everything still as good as when you're there?
I would say. I'm sure it had a little bit different of a taste, but I mean, yeah, I guess you can't really beat the in-store freshly made, not in restaurant freshly made
Sure.
sushi.
What's
Yeah.
what's the go-to at Texas Roadhouse for you guys?
For me, steak kebab. My parents usually get some sort of salad. I don't really know what it is, but it looks to be okay for a salad, I guess. However good a salad can be.
Yeah, you're right. Texas Roadhouse and salad don't seem to be synonymous. You know,
Yeah.
people might be arguing about that, but so obviously there's been a lot of people that have impacted you over your time in your last 4 years at Prairie Ridge. So when you look
Yeah.
back on that time, who are the people that really made a lasting and amazing impact on your life?
Yeah. Probably Coach Peck is the number one out of all of them. I mean, he's just kind of built me up, I guess you could say. Taught me a lot of just how to go throughout life and just different things to help me know what to do in the real world. Not even him telling me overtly, just through the things that he did as a coach has really helped me, will really help me in the future too. And Coach Peterson, definitely a big impact in my life. Same with Coach Kaz, my position coach for football. And then all the other baseball coaches, APOD, Coach Jay, Coach Cozy, all had a pretty big impact on my life. And then teachers, Mrs. Bloomline for AP Gov, just kind of changed my perspective on different things and just make me back up views with facts and stuff like that, and just kind of think about things differently. Think about things from a different perspective, I guess. Mrs. Dunker, freshman year, she was my freshman year social sciences teacher for world studies, and I mean, just kind of was one of the biggest welcoming faces to me coming into PR. And there, Mrs. Buck did a ton for me. Mrs. Body. I mean, there's a ton that I could list off, and I'm probably missing a few, but I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, every single teacher. Oh, Mrs. Roberts is one of the biggest impacts. I mean, every morning, a couple of us would go in and just sit there during commons and talk to her while she was in the lit center. I mean, it was nice. We had a little breakfast club kind of thing going.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of people that have made a huge impact.
Yeah, it's hard to name everybody, but I mean,
sure. Now, if we take a couple folks there, because I know that they've been really impactful for you. So first, if we look at Coach Peck, obviously he's known for his Peckisms, and everyone seems to have a favorite. So it's just always kind of fun to see what's your favorite Peckism as you reflect back on the last 4 years.
Either probably, are you kidding me? We will never know if you don't dive for a ball. We'll never know for the rest of eternity if you could have gotten that. I love the just impression of, we got guys in Afghanistan with bullets flying over their head and you're afraid of a wasp. That's one of the best ones. That one's always funny. That one's funny. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of things to list off. Everything's of it's in its own, but it is what it. I mean, it's just funny. They're all pretty iconic.
Is there a certain moment that you look back on over summer ball or the last year or two that really just brings you and your buddies to tears from laughter?
Probably. For me, at least, when there's a drop fly ball in center field over the spring trip, that was the first time I ever saw Peck legit freak out. That was probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen. One of the funniest things, like, not even that it's funny, but just going back and looking at it with my friends, it's just funny. Just all the things that happened in between it was just funny.
And you don't have to mention the young man who dropped the ball. I can't imagine what that jog back to the dugout was like after that.
There's plenty of other things going into this explosion, so it's never just one person. It's always something leading up.
Kind of builds, kind of like a water balloon being filled up, right?
Yeah. That's about it.
That's awesome. But I also know, I mean, you guys could all laugh, but I also know the kind of high regard and respect that you have for him and how much he
Yeah,
cares about you guys too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We give it back. We give some smart aleck things to him every once in a while. As seniors, I think eventually when you become a senior, you earn a little bit of a right to say a few things back to him, and it's all fun and games. He knows that. I mean, none of us really would ever cross the line. We usually pick our moments and know the time. It's never really being a pain. I mean,
Sure.
we can be pains, but it's never in a bad way.
Oh, I got it. Now, have you become like a country music fan now?
I've been a country music fan. I made the playlist for us over the summer to hit to for our country playlist. So, I mean, I've been a country fan. I never really got tired of it. I know some guys like to complain about it, but
All right. Well, who's your go-to? If you got one country concert you'd love to go to, well, who would that be right now?
probably Luke Combs.
All right.
I mean, definitely probably the best out of all of them, in my opinion, so far. I mean, there's definitely some good ones, but
Have you seen any of those guys perform over the last couple of years?
I saw Brett Eldridge last summer. He was good. He was a lot better than I thought he was going to be.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And now looking back, so as a coach, who convinced you to come back? Coach Pete, Kaz, who was that?
It was more all my friends, really. I mean, Kyle Colblinger, Riley Smith, and Drew Fryer. Drew Fryer was the original one to give me he FaceTimed me right after the first practice. He's like, "Hey, we need you to come." And I was like, "Okay, I'll think about it." That at that time I was in the middle of my baseball season too, kind of focused on that, and I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I will give it some time." And then little did I know the next day I'd be calling Peterson and telling him, "Yeah, I guess I'll be coming to play." So,
Oh,
and then
nice.
eventually, yeah. And then the next day I went in, met with him and Coach Shrimp, talked for a while, and ended up coming to practice either the second day or the third day. I think it was the second day. But, yeah, I mean, it was definitely – I was glad I came back, like, no matter what I say. But, I mean –
yeah, because you played with those guys for years and years.
Yeah. And, I mean, my junior year I played all the way through the summer, and then I just stopped and went and played fall ball for baseball. Went on a couple of tournaments, traveling tournaments to Iowa and Florida. Florida was a big one, too, that I wanted to go to.
Was that pro player? Is that
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now if you look back on, I think the times that you guys seem to enjoy the most is, yeah, there's some of the games, but it's those practices, the time on the bus, the locker room. What are some of your favorite memories with your buddies, or some funny moments with the guys that you really look back on fondly?
Yeah, I mean, the bus rides back are always pretty funny, especially during baseball season. There's so many of them. I mean, we just have to find a way to pass the time. So there's usually some funny thing going on or whatever. It's hard to name one, but locker rooms, we're always messing around in there, yelling, banging on lockers, whatever happens. Especially after football games in the locker room, it's just dance party, banging on lockers, making as much noise, whatever. Going into M106, continuing it. I mean, it's really just passing the time in the most ridiculous way possible, I guess, usually.
Who's the best dancer out of the group?
That's a good question. I don't want to say Leiden at all.
You know what? Because he already claims he is. Is that why?
He definitely would claim he is, and he tries too hard. I'm probably gonna go with Blake. Blake's probably the best dancer if I had to take it out of all of them. If I had to really think about it, but I don't. Everybody's either pretty bad or somewhat good. Or
how about out of the big men? Who could really do it out of the big guys?
Well, it's probably between Riley and Matron. I've seen Matron seen Matchin do a couple good dances, and I've seen Riley bust a move a couple times. So that's usually who's dancing. But
Man, I didn't know they had it in them. That's impressive.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Out of the dumb stuff, when you look back at PR, kind of the mundane, boring, you're back at school. What were those kind of boring, mundane things that you're like, man, I just missed that?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I just miss just sitting in class with all my friends, or sitting in commons around a table with all my friends and just talking about absolutely nothing really too. I mean, and just going to school, like just walking into school and stuff like that, just going to school, seeing everybody, just walking throughout the hallway to going to the next class, stopping and talking to people or waving to people, just seeing all your classmates every day. I mean, it's just something to miss.
Yeah. Yeah. So now that you're coming up on officially becoming an alum, and you hear the term "once a wolf, always a wolf," what's that hold for you?
I mean, it means a lot. And over our home dugout says tradition never graduates. And I mean, just knowing that whatever I did in high school and the mark that I left will always be there to come back to, and things like that. And all my friends and everything, just my whole childhood is always just has one spot to come back and look back to. I think that's kind of what it means to me. It's just something to look back on and remember, and just remember all the good times that I had. I mean, not even just in high school, just throughout, elementary school and middle school and things like that. And just everything really. It's just kind of a way to look back at the community.
Awesome. Terrific. Well said. Where, so now on the kind of goofy side, I guess I didn't warn you on this one, but what's one of the kind of dumb thing, quirky thing, hidden talent that you have that other people just don't know about you?
That's tough. I don't really know. I mean, it's just something. I mean, I used to snowboard a lot. Like, people don't really know much about that. I started to try and compete and stuff in middle school a lot.
Oh, did you? So
that was about it.
Where'd you compete? Like over, what was that, Buffalo, whatever?
Yeah, I think it's Raging Buffalo.
Yeah.
Right around, yeah. And I mean, that was a good time. I actually really enjoyed that. I just ran out of time for it in high school. Once I got to high school, middle school, I used to do it a lot. And that's probably something that a lot of people don't really know, that I used to snowboard a lot and be really into it, I guess.
You'll have some opportunities there up in La Crosse. I mean, there's some places around there where you could probably do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got your own board then and such? Yeah.
I just haven't done it in a while. I didn't do it at all this winter. Not I think maybe I did it once this winter. I know I did it once or twice last winter, but it's just kind of slipped away, I guess, which kind of is sad. But I'll pick it back up eventually when I get time again, when I find time and things like that. And I have the money, which is going to take a while to get, but it's kind of an expense. It can be expensive, so it's tough to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to thank you for this time. You were great. I love your determination, because sometimes guys will get some inner pride, they'll leave football, but you're like, you swallowed it, and you're like, hey, no, I could come back. You definitely contributed to the team, and you got a lot of heart, and there's no doubt that you put your mind to it. We'll see you flying an F-25 or something here down the road, and
hopefully,
and doing awesome. So thank you for your service and being a great example to your fellow classmates.
Thank you for having me. It was nice. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. My pleasure.
Everybody just clap your hands. Clap your hands, everybody just clap your hands.
Are you kidding? You did awesome. I love it, because one thing with you and we're getting there is trying to get you to smile sometimes.
Yeah.
But we got you. Yeah. So that was awesome. So
my mom will be happy about that.
I know that. Are you heading out? Are you going to do the cap and gown drive-by thing tonight?
Yep.
How are you doing? Are you doing that with your family, or are you doing that with your friends, or how are you guys doing that?
we're all meeting at my house since I live right there, right next to PR, and then we're driving over together through the parade.
How many folks are meeting at your house? What group of
I
guys?
don't know. I don't even know. It'll probably be just everybody in their family. So I don't know. Hopefully we don't get yelled at by somebody